Hello everybody, my name is Squirrelbites, and it's been a month. I've been pretty tired, to be honest. I've had no energy to make videos. I go to dog grooming school, which is so physically demanding, and then I go to a retail job, which is mentally and physically demanding. Then after that I work on commissions. When I'm not working, I don't normally work on videos, because that's more work. It feels like I'm just working all the time. So I'm either snoozing or I'm playing like 30 minutes of a video game. But hey, here's a video. Hopefully I'll have more free time soon. That would be nice. And welcome back to Echo's Library. You probably don't remember this, but an entire year ago, I made the first episode of Echo's Library, and there's a reason that it was a whole year ago, and that's because this was supposed to be a fursuiting series. Why isn't it, you ask? Because YouTube keeps recognizing my fursuit as a child and disabling my comments. We're doing the speed paint format that we are oh so familiar with, but we're still using my cat character Echo because I think Echo's Library is a cute idea. We are reviewing Warriors, the Prophecies Begin. Let's talk about our main character, Fireheart. Though he does start off as Rusty, then Firepaw, then Fireheart, and eventually Firestar. Truthfully, I think, hot take right now. Firestar is an underrated character. Not in the eyes of the writers, obviously, we know how much love he gets from the writers, but I mean from the fans of the Warrior Cats series. You ask anybody who their favorite character is in the Warrior series. Longtail, Cinderpelt, Brackenfur. Dog, I like Alderheart, I like Needletail. Nobody ever says that their favorite character is Firestar. And I think that's a little bit bogus. I understand that eventually you do kind of grow sick of the guy. He's given so much love from the writers and he's in so many arcs. But let's be real, let's be honest, at least focusing on the first arc, he is a very well written character. Obviously he has his moments of being not so well written, but that is not a special Fireheart thing. That is a thing that happens with all of these characters. They all have their moments of being terribly written. Firestar is a fantastic protagonist because he's an outsider. He's just a simple house cat who joined these random clans. Because he doesn't know anything about these clans and this world and all this terminology, it means we get to learn about it together. And I'll be real with you, I would much rather be introduced to this world like that than with a character that already knows about everything. Because the only way we would be able to learn about this world, if the character already knew everything that is by them explaining it to us in their head. That would be so annoying to read. I think it works a lot better, them explaining it to the character rather than explaining it to us. Kills two birds with one stone, you know? Real quick, I forgot to mention with the video in the background, it turns out pretty bad in the video, but I went back off camera and I fixed it, so please don't judge my art skills based on the speed paint alone. I swear, it looks pretty good at the end. It's okay at the end. However, how did this arc treat its other characters? I do think at the beginning that Graystripe was a wonderful character. Not to say that he isn't ever again, but a little bit later on in the series, maybe about the second book or so, whenever he gets his forbidden girlfriend, that was annoying. Graystripe, a ThunderClan cat, falls in love with Silverstream, a RiverClan cat, and that is a big no-no. And when this happens, he turns into a huge jerk. He neglects his apprentice. He shows absolutely no appreciation to Fireheart for teaching his apprentice for him. He neglects his duties just to go see his girlfriend. I understand he loves her, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of obsessed with my boyfriend too. Sorry if you hear the dog in the back. But he takes it to a big extreme. He and Fireheart have this whole falling out because Fireheart's trying to convince him not to have this girlfriend that's genuinely preventing him from doing his responsibilities. Dog, do you think he was gonna support you? He's always covering for Graystripe, and Graystripe doesn't appreciate it at all. Then at the end, no apology. They became besties again, but for what? Dude, if I was Fireheart, I would be so sick of Graystripe. Graystripe, if you ask me, is a really good best friend character. But dang, was he annoying there! God, golly! Then Ravenpaw, our beautiful anxious boy. I really liked how anxious he was, I suppose. He definitely made him stand out among the rest. And how he was absolutely a victim of Tiger Claw. I really enjoyed that as well. I mean, obviously, poor Ravenpaw, but I think it did wonders for his character development. And to show that Fireheart was happier going from kitty pet life to clan life. But it doesn't work out for everyone. Sometimes you're born in a clan and it's just not for you. I really like that they showed someone leaving the clan to go be happy. And I'm glad that they made him go be happy with Barley. And later on, when Fireheart and Graystripe see Ravenpaw again, he's happier and he's fuller. He's looking healthy and great. Really showed that leaving the clan was probably the best thing that's ever happened to him. Sandstorm's character development felt robotic to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think the whole enemies to lovers thing is cute. I just think they could have written it better. Of course, feel free to disagree with me. We can argue in the comments or whatever. But for me, it really did feel like Fireheart just saved her life and then she immediately stopped hating him. I thought that was a little silly. But after that random bit of development, I think she's a wonderful partner. I think they're really cute together, and you can't stop me from thinking that. Of course, we know Spotted Leaf was underdeveloped as heck, and the fact that her death seemed to have impacted Fireheart so bad was pretty weird. Why do you care so much? I mean, obviously, it sucks she died. Why are you acting like she was the love of your life, little dude? Not to mention, she showed no feelings for this man whatsoever. I should say boy. She showed no feelings for this boy whatsoever. There was no hint of this happening. And then they randomly decided to give her feelings ages later. Like, the errands just said that she liked him back. Dog, point to me in the original arc where it shows that, because she literally just smiles at him, and when she visits him in dreams, she's just giving him prophecies. Where is the love here? What are you talking about? Now let's talk about the relationship between Graystripe and Silverstream that we had brushed over before. If you watched my Warrior Cats fan art redraw, you'll know that I talked about them a little bit. When I was a kid, reading Warrior Cats, maybe like in 4th, 5th grade, I thought their relationship was silly and stupid. To me, all that it had looked like was that she saved him from ice, and then they made out and had kids, and then she died. I saw no development there, and when people were telling me, oh my god, I cried when Silverstream died, I couldn't understand why. Years later, I thought to myself, oh, it's probably because I was a stupid kid. I'm gonna reread the whole first series, and I'm probably gonna change my mind. I did not change my mind. In fact, rereading the whole series solidified that opinion to me. What do you mean, cried when Silverstream died? What did you cry for? Reading the romance between Graystripe and Silverstream, all I got was, she likes Graystripe. That's all I got. That's all I got out of her. Now, of course, the fact that this is all told through Fireheart's perspective does do numbers. Maybe if it was in Greystripe's perspective, I would be screaming, crying, throwing up at her death. But as it stands, in the first arc, I felt absolutely nothing when she died. Nada. You know who I did feel for, though? I felt a lot for Cinderpelt. I think they wrote her beautifully in the first arc. She was eager. She could not wait to be a warrior. Then she falls into a trap that Tiger Claw laid out for Bluestar, and she can't be a warrior anymore. I hear a lot of people saying that it makes no sense why she can't be a warrior, because if you watch videos of paralyzed cats, they are still zooming. And I agree with that standpoint. I think the fact that they're always showing Cinderpaw or Cinderpelt or whatever limping and seemingly helpless, I think that's pretty silly. I don't think it's silly that she can't be a warrior, though. Of course, I think, let her do some warrior things, of course. If I were the leader, I would have no problem with letting Cinderpelt be a warrior. I truthfully would. However, I do want to remind that being a warrior means getting injured. Injuries can mean infections. If Cinderpelt can't feel that leg, and she's in a battle, and someone bites it, or scratches it, and it gets infected, she might not notice until it's too late. If I were the leader, I would let her be warrior, sure. I would require a checkup on basically everything she does, just so that she can be okay. I would just be really worried about her and not noticing, and then it getting so much worse for her. As we know, though, she finds meaning in the medicine cat den. She never wanted to be a medicine cat, but that's the card she was dealt with, and I think she deals with it great. No, Cinderpelt does not have feelings for Fireheart, and you can't convince me otherwise. I don't care what the errands said. She doesn't. They are a wonderful platonic relationship, and you can't take that away from me. Enough about the characters. What about the plot? I think, for a first arc, this plot was great. It's really at home with the whole feral cat concept. Reading this book back in 5th grade and now, reading these books, I should say, it felt like a great explanation as to why feral cats are the way that they are. Everything from the warrior code, to their religion, to their clans, I felt like it was a pretty good representation of what could be going on inside the minds of feral cats. Of course, obviously we know it's not the case, feral cats aren't thinking all of this, but the books were written as a fictional explanation as to why they act like that. And I think it did its job beautifully. I do want to say that sometimes some things just were brutal for the sake of being brutal. They didn't do much for the story, And a good example of this is Snowkit. I have a big problem with Snowkit's existence. Snowkit did nothing but prance around and then die. And it really felt like Snowkit's existence was just a reminder of how grim clan life can be. But could you imagine what could have happened if he had lived? I feel like they could have come up with something, maybe a cat language with their tails or with their ears. Similar to what cats do in real life with their body language. Having him still be a warrior, having him still be able to hunt. All the errands had to do was study how deaf cats work in real life. How do they hunt? How do they fight? And tweaking that into a more humanized version, because these are slightly humanized cats. And then boom, a deaf representation. Finally, a character who's disabled and isn't immediately sent to be a medicine cat forever. Or, in Longtail's case, in the future, just being retired early. Just so that you can remember, hey, clan life sucks. I feel like the relationship between Tiger Claw and Golden Flower should have been explored a little bit more. I want to know if they actually loved each other or not. Truthfully, it would make complete sense to me if Tiger Claw didn't care for Golden Flower but was mates with her so that he could have offspring. I would want to know if that were the case, did Golden Flower agree to that, or did she only feel for Tiger Claw and thought that the feeling was mutual? Or did Tiger Claw love her? Why is there no scenes of them actually being in love? How interesting would it have been? Tiger Claw's entire character is that he's a monster. That's it. I would love to see a more humanized and more, I suppose, sympathetic Tiger Claw. I'm not asking him to be a good guy. I'm asking him to show emotion other than evil. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a wonderful villain. He did his job beautifully. I want to see emotions from him. When his kids were born, and Darkstripe took them over to the Shadow Clan border so that they could see him, it did not feel like he wanted a relationship with his kids. To me, it felt like he just wanted to be close to his offspring so that they could follow in his footsteps, so his legacy would live on. Seemed like the very selfish thing rather than I love my kids, I want to see them. If I could even just get a piece of dialogue of Tiger Claw saying, I love you, Bramble Kit, I love you, Tawny Kit, I feel like that would have done numbers. However, all in all, I think Tiger Claw's a great villain. Did his job wonderfully. Everything from the carefully planned out murders and traps to when he snapped and tried to hurt Bluestar in her den, all the way up to his death, which truthfully his death was a cause of his own ambition. He got impatient with Scourge and ended up getting killed because of it. I think he's probably the best villain we could have gotten, honestly. In the first arc I'm in. And truthfully, I think Firestar's story is my favorite story out of all the leaders that I've seen. He was heroic from the start. I honestly, truthfully watched his development, and even though I knew that he was going to be a leader, I still thought to myself, this guy would make a great leader. Going back to characters for a second, I do want to talk about Bluestar, because I think too many people slander my gal. As for her giving up her kits to become leader of ThunderClan, I'm not really in a place to say whether or not that was a valid decision, because I haven't read Bluestar's prophecy. However, I think her development in the first arc was a gorgeous one. I think it was amazing. I adore her descent into madness. I love how we watched her from the very start be this calm and collected leader. And then when Tiger Claw betrays her, he goes insane. She wages war on StarClan. Her actions begin to hurt her and everybody around her. Up to the point where Fireheart eventually betrays her because she's genuinely making these rash decisions that are just going to hurt everybody in the end. Yes, I would be lying if I said that her actions did not frustrate me every now and then. But when you hear that she canonically has dementia, dog, I feel like that's a little bit of an excuse. I hear people saying all the time, well, she named Brightheart Lost Face. There's no excuse for that. I think dementia's a pretty good excuse for that. Not saying that what she did was right, of course. That sucked for Brightheart. And I'm very glad that one of the first things that Firestar did was rename her. But I really want to be honest with you guys about this. Yes, mental illness isn't an excuse for everything. Obviously, we know that. But I really want to understand, do you guys know what dementia does to somebody? I assure you, real life people with dementia done and said worse things than naming somebody Lost Face. To expect someone with dementia to make amazing and rash decisions, I think, is a little silly. Now, my opinion is subject to change, so please don't hate me. If you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. As it stands now, though, I think dementia is a pretty good excuse to do the horrid thing she did. Especially because, for the entire arc, she was a very good leader. I really think that if Bluestar could see Dementia Bluestar and see her name a dog attack victim Lost Face, I genuinely think that Bluestar would be like, what the heck? Dude, what? Anyways, by the end of the series, where there's this whole battle with Blood Clan and there's a lot of deaths and it sucks. When Firestar loses his first life, and then he comes back and Scourge is like, what the heck, I killed you, and Firestar's like, nuh-uh, and then kills Scourge. I think it was a great ending. Them winning back the forest. And what I was imagining during this scene was just so much blood, so many corpses. But while there's grief, there's also so much relief to know that it's all over. Peace is restored back into the forest. And I think this is a wonderful ending, and if the Warriors series ended here, I think it would have worked. Not to say that I wish it did. I'm glad to have the amount of Warriors content that we do today. Truthfully enough, if Warriors had ended first arc, I generally don't believe that there would be as big of a fandom as there is today. But the arc was written as just one arc. They weren't planning to make a bajillion more books. So viewing it from that perspective, that this ending was supposed to be the ending, I think it did its job insanely well. So, that concludes the first, I suppose, official episode of Echo's Library. For the most part, it's just me rambling, and honestly, I think that's all it's going to be. Good background noise, like if you're looking for an in-depth review, though, sorry. If you guys want me to actually write a script and make an in-depth review, I will. I just didn't this time around because I'm genuinely just really wanting to push a video out after so long of not making a video. But if you genuinely would prefer me to put in more effort into my book reviews and have it be an actual book review rather than me rambling, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you prefer the rambling, also feel free to let me know in the comments. Again, if you guys have any video suggestions, go ahead and throw them at me. Willing to do anything at this point. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps a whole lot. And join my Discord, it's pretty cool there. I'll be more active on there eventually. Do you guys remember those days where I would say good morning to the server every single day? It'll come back someday, I promise. Bye. Love you. Mwah. Tiger Claw laid out for Blue Stripe. Blue Stripe? I think it did its job insanely. Sorry. And that would be so annoying to read. I think it works a lot better. But he... Oh my lord. No. Cinderpelt does not have feelings for Fireheart. I don't care what the air... Sorry, I hit my mic.